All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, the free money edition of how to build business credit for your EIN not linked to your social security number. All right. And this is the free money edition, which means I'm going to show you how I learned about business credit from one of my clients that gets free money using business credit. Okay. And this is how I learned about business credit, right? So, in this training, I explain how I learned about business credit. I learned how my client is getting free money using business credit. During this 90-minute training, not that long, you'll discover how to build credit that's linked to your EIN and not your social, that requires no personal guarantee or credit check, and how to get business funding and credit lines even if you have personal credit issues, no collateral, or are just starting your business. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get going. Okay, we should be in business now. You should be able to see the screen pretty good. And I know you're driving. So just be careful and just listen up.
Okay, I'm about to pull over in just a second. So I'm here though. I think you have someone else. Okay, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz is in too.
All right, Mr. Cruz is here too. All right, that's a bet. All right, let's do it. The free money edition of business, how to build business credit for your EIN. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my website is businesscreditbuilder.us. All right, and here goes my contact. My name is Noel A. Booker Sr. The website, businesscreditbuilder.us. My contact information, but check it out. There's 3 buttons at the bottom of this page, right? The first button is how you get a free guide on how to build business credit. You just go to businesscreditbuilder.us/free guide. All right. The blue button is how you get a free business credit consultation. That's how you want to, if you want to talk to me about the services that we provide or got some questions or something, this is what you do. You schedule a free business credit consultation by going to businesscreditbuilder.us/consult. And if you think that you can get approved for funding now, then you would go to businesscreditbuilder.us/get funding. All right. So let's get going here. What we will cover today: how you can get business credit within 7 days or less that's linked to your EIN, not your social, even if you are a startup or have bad personal credit now. Then immediately start using it to get credit you want and need, even from major sources like Target, Walmart, Staples, Lowe's, Visa, MasterCard, and more. How you can access loans and credit lines even as a startup, have credit challenges, or lack collateral. Okay? Most people fail trying to get money and grow their business. Most don't know that EIN credit can be built regardless of personal credit quality. Many apply for credit in the wrong order. Many entrepreneurs don't know that money is available based on business strengths, what I like to call the 3 C's of funding. Okay? The 3 C's of funding, which are credit, collateral, cash flow. Now, if you got all of these 3 C's, then you could possibly qualify for an SBA loan, which is the best place to get money for your business. If you have 2 of these 3 C's, then you could possibly qualify for a term loan. If you have one of these three C's, depending on which one that you do have, then there is money available for you today. Okay? Now, if you don't have any of these three C's, then that's when you start with business credit. Okay? And as you build your business credit, you get access to more and more money. Okay? All right. So, what is business credit? Business credit is credit that is obtained in a business name. With business credit, the business builds its own credit profile and credit score for its EIN number. This credit is in the business name and based on the business's ability to pay, not the business owner's ability to pay. Okay? The business can qualify for revolving store credit cards like Staples, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco, and more. Okay, why business credit is awesome? Well, it has no effect on your personal credit, right? Business credit has no effect on your personal credit. There is no personal guarantee needed in order to build business credit. Okay. Business credit building is fast. Well, compared to personal credit, which there are 5 factors that affect your personal credit. With business credit, there's one factor that affects your business credit, and that's how you pay your bill. Okay. And you have total control over that. Okay. With business credit, you can offset current expenses, right? With business credit, you can increase your approval amounts with better rates and terms, okay? And there's no collateral, cash flow, or good credit needed in order to build business credit, okay? Now, once you have business credit, then you can access loans and credit lines. Because once you got business credit, then you have a track record of your business paying on time. And that's what lenders and creditors want to see. They want to know that your business is able to pay bills on time. Okay. And that's what this whole thing is about, showing creditors that your business has a record of paying bills on time. Now, every successful business in America has business credit. And I'm going to show you what I mean right now. What you are looking at is what anybody can see for free. Okay. You would go to the Experian website, and on there, there's a page that you can put your business name and address, and you can find information like this. This is for Facebook Incorporated. They're from Menlo Park, California. But the piece that I want to bring to your attention is the number of trade lines. You see that? They got 40 trade lines. So let's go over what a trade line is, just so that we're on the same page. You probably already know what a trade line is, but I want to make sure we're on the same page from the beginning, because the trade lines is the basis for building business credit. Okay? So this is what a trade line is. Here we go. Trade line. This is when you go to a company and you get an account, a credit account, which means now with this credit account, you can go in and buy something on credit. You'll get the item and they'll give you an invoice. You don't have to pay it yet, right? They give you an invoice that'll tell you when you need to pay it and how much and all that detailed stuff, right? So when you actually pay for this item that you got on credit, this is what happens. The company sends a report to the business credit reporting agency, right? That they report to. There's 3 of them. There's Dun& Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. So The company will send a report to one or two of them, right? And this report will say, XYZ company, they have an account with us. Their limit is X amount of dollars, right? And they made a purchase. And they paid off this purchase in X amount of days. And this report is sent to the business credit reporting agencies. And the business credit reporting agencies put this on your business credit profile. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is one trade line. Does anybody have any questions on what a trade line is? Now, this one trade line, you can make more transactions with this vendor by purchasing more items and making more payments. And those are called experiences, right? But this is one trade line. Anybody got any questions? Just open your mic. You can put it in the chat, whatever. All right. Okay, no questions. All right, so y'all know what a trade line is because I want y'all to know what a trade line is before we even proceed. Okay? All right. So, um, this next page is Microsoft. You see, they got 131 trade lines, right? You see that, right? They're from Redmond, Washington, right? And Walmart. Walmart is like the king of business credit. You see that, right? So this is what Walmart does. Walmart will go to a company like Bounty and say, "Yo, Bounty, let me get a truckload of toilet paper." Now, the owner of Walmart don't go in his pocket and pay for this, and he don't even call up the accounting department and say, "Cut a check." The toilet paper will come on the truck. They'll put it on the shelf. Then we go in and buy it. They'll take our money and pay the bill. And Bounty will say, "Hey, you did that good. Here's 5 truckloads of toilet paper. Now just keep on flipping." And this is how business is done with business credit, business to business. Okay. This is how it's done on the big corporate level, and it's done on the small business level as well, like the corner store, right? When the corner store gets a bread delivery, they're not paying for that bread right there. They're counting how many units came in, how many units went out. This is how business is done with business credit. Okay? Now, how we can help the business credit builder. We have our fundability system. With it, we show you how to make your business credible in the eyes of the lender. Our high-tech software helps you build your business credit and access high-limit store credit, business loans, and credit lines. We work with all legitimate types of funding programs that are available today, offering funding through hundreds of investors and lenders through a multitude of different funding programs. Okay? So, like, we are a broker, right? So, we already have lenders. We got hundreds of legitimate lenders with different types of programs, the best programs to get the best loans with the best rates and terms. Okay? So, most of my clients when they come to me they can't qualify, but we prepare you how to qualify because these hundreds of legitimate lenders that we already have, we already know the exact details on how to qualify. So we prepare you to qualify. Okay? All right. Now, let's get down to business. How do you build business credit? Okay. The first step is credibility, which I also call fundability. Now, this first step is what I also call the ABCs. It's a simple step, right? It's a simple step. It's the easy step, but it's the most important step in this whole process. Okay? The perception lenders, vendors, and creditors have of your business is critical to your ability to build strong business credit. Apply Before applying for business credit, a business must ensure it meets or exceeds all lender credibility standards. There are over 20 credibility points that are necessary for a business to have a strong, credible foundation. Okay, let's start with the business name. That's simple, right? You got to register your business name, right? You have to show that your business is credible by having a business name registered with the Secretary of State in the state that you reside. It's very important that you use your exact business legal name. All right. Ensure your business name is exactly the same on your corporation papers, licenses, and bank statements. So, in Georgia, where I am, it costs $100. Every state is different, right? So you go to the Secretary of State and you register your business name. When you register your business name, they will ask you to select a corporate entity, right? An entity type. You can build business credit with almost any corporate entity type. If you truly want to separate business credit from your personal credit, your business must be a separate legal entity, not a sole proprietor or partnership. Okay? Unless you have a separate business entity, a corporation or LLC, which is also known as a limited liability corporation, you might be doing business, but you are not truly a business. You need to be a corporation or an LLC in order to separate personal from business liability. Okay, EIN number. I'm not going to talk that much about the EIN number, but I'm going to tell you the two things that you need to know. This is what you need to know. One, you cannot build business credit without an EIN number. And two, it's free. So don't pay for an EIN number. All right? Like I said, I'm going to skip over that. That's like so simple. If you got any questions about the EIN number, just let me know. Right? But that's so simple. So now we're going to go to the business address. Okay. Now there are some details in this whole process that a lot of people don't realize. That's why it's good to understand what the lenders are looking at and what they are thinking when they're looking at your application. Okay. So when selecting your business address, there are three options. There are no more options after these three. These are the three. The first one is to have a brick and mortar, a storefront. You definitely need a place that can accept packages. Okay. And a lot of people can't afford that brick and mortar straight out the back. So that's understandable. So the next option is to have a virtual office address. There are hundreds of companies in every city that'll give you a virtual office address for as low as $50 a month. Now, a lot of my clients get the virtual office address so that they don't have to share their home address with everybody in the world. Okay. And I'm going to tell you more information about that coming up soon, the virtual office address. Now, the third and the last resort, the last option is the home address. But you have to think that some lenders and creditors do not perceive home-based businesses as being credible, okay? But they do this on a case-by-case basis, right? So let's say you're doing hair from the house, right? Let's say you're a hairstylist, you're doing hair from the house. Well, that makes sense. There's some people that do hair from the house and they make some money and they'll be able to pay a bill, right? Now, on the other hand of that is let's say you're a trucking company and you're supposed to have all these trucks, all right? Um, so the thing to know is that on your Dun& and Bradstreet credit report is a Google Maps picture of your business, right? So whatever address you have for your business, they're looking at the front door, trying to figure out, does this make sense? That's what they're trying to figure out. Does this make sense? Right? So if you got a whole bunch of trucks, is it is it feasible that you got all these trucks at the house? You see, so they're looking at this, they're trying not to get got, right? Because they got a whole bunch of people that then got stuff on credit and didn't pay, right? So now they're trying to lower their losses. So they're trying just to see if this makes sense. Does it look like this makes sense? That's what they're looking at this point in time, right? So you definitely need a deliverable physical address. It cannot be a PO box. It cannot be a UPS address for sure. If you want to know the reason, I'll let you know, but you can take my word for it. Do not use a PO box and do not use a UPS address as your main business address. You can operate your business with a PO box, but don't use it on the application as this is my main business address. Don't do that, right? Some lenders will approve and fund. Well, some lenders will not approve and fund unless this criteria is met. Okay? So that's some details that's good to know. Okay, virtual office addresses. So at these companies that offer you a virtual office address, they got other products. They got other stuff that they can sell you, right? But for our purposes, all we need is this virtual office address, right? So they'll give you an address only. That's all you need. And for as low as $50 a month. They also offer services like they give you an office, they'll give you access to their receptionist, their break room, their meeting rooms, and so on and so forth, right? But all you need is that address, right? Okay, so my go-to for virtual office addresses is DaVinci Virtual Office Solutions. The reason why I use them is because what they will do is get you a unique address, right? See, some of these businesses that give you virtual office addresses will give you the same exact address as they just gave 100 other businesses. And you don't want that, right? You want a unique address for your business, all right? And Da Vinci Virtual Office Solutions will do that. If you go to this website, businesscreditbuilder.us/vendors, then you'll see the logo for Da Vinci. You'll see a telephone number to call, a person to ask for, and you will see specific verbiage on how to order the right product, right? Because what they do is they will send the post office a form that will get the post office to give you a unique address. Okay? So that's what you need. Even if you don't use DaVinci, you definitely need a unique address for your business. Don't let it be an address that 100 other businesses have that same address. That's not going to be good. Okay? Okay. The next thing we need to talk about is to have the right business phone number, right? So this is what you need to know. You need to have a dedicated business phone number that is listed with the 411 National Directory Assistance. This has to be a local number that is listed with the National Directory Assistance. Lenders, vendors, creditors, and even insurance providers will verify that your business is listed with 411. All right? That's what they do. That's one of the first things they do is to check to see if your number, like on the application, they're going to ask you for your business number, your main business number. They're going to look up to see if you are listed. And when you list it, it's directly associated with your address. Okay? So all this has to line up correctly. A toll-free number will give your business credibility, but you must have this local number listed with 411 National Directory. Okay? So, even if you are a single owner with a home based business, a toll free number provides the perception that you are an even bigger company, right? And it's inexpensive, right? So, this is what happens, right? They're gonna check that local number to see if it's listed, right? If it's listed, check. You don't get a red flag, right? Because we're trying to avoid these red flags during the application process, okay? We don't want red flags during the application process, okay? So they're going to look to see if that local number that you gave them is listed. They're going to check that off. No red flag. Now they're going to see that you got another number, a 800 number, and you got a fax number. Now it's looking like you're more credible, okay? Like the fax number and the 800 number is not necessary, but it lends more credibility to your company. Okay? So that's what you need to know though, right? That you need that local number, and having an 800 number and a fax number just makes it look like you're more credible. Okay? Okay. A cell phone number as your main business line could get you flagged as an unestablished business that is too high of a risk. So don't give your personal cell phone number or your residential number as the business phone number. The reason why is that when you have this application and you have the phone number field, right? What they are actually doing is pulling up a database of all cell phone numbers and all home landline numbers. And if your number comes up on that list, then they could deny you, and they don't have to tell you why they denied you. Okay? So that's why, this first whole step, I said the credibility step is the most important. They can deny you and don't have to tell you why. Now you can forward your virtual number to any cell line number or land number, right? But when you got the application and they ask you for your main number, it cannot be a cell phone number. It cannot be a home landline number. Okay, now this is my go-tos for getting your business telephone number, right? So Freedom Voice, Ring Central, Vonage. These are three companies that'll definitely hook you up right. My go-to is Freedom Voice. Freedom Voice will give you a local number for $9.95 a month, and they will list it with the National 411 directory for $3 a month, right? And they will also give you a fax number and an 800 number for under $20 a month, okay? So that's the best hookup, right? Ring Central and Vonage will start you at 25 a month. Freedom Voice to get you in there for under $20 a month. Okay? And that local telephone number is crucial to building business credit. Okay? That's one of the first things they're gonna be looking at. No doubt. Right? And I'm gonna show you that too. Okay, now let's go on to the next step, which is the website, right? See, nowadays lenders and creditors think that credible businesses have a website and a business email. Okay? Lenders and creditors will deny you if you don't have a website, and they don't have to tell you why they denied you. Okay? They don't have to tell you. With personal credit, they got to tell you why they denied you. With business credit, they don't have to tell you why they denied you. So spend the time and money necessary to ensure your website is professionally designed and works well. Okay. My company, which is MediaNet USA, we offer the small business web hosting package. It's an all-inclusive situation, which means you don't have to do nothing. I do everything, right? So this is what it comes with. It comes with domain registration, 12 months web hosting, website design, monthly updates, unlimited emails, expert customer support, internet consultation. So if you want to talk about getting your website up and running, make sure you schedule your free business credit consultation or just call me at 404-500-9687, right? But you can go ahead and schedule a free business credit consultation at the time that's best for you. Okay? So make sure you got this website for your business, right? Because they will go to Google and put your business name in, and hopefully they find you, right? And when they find your nice website, they're going to skip over that nice and pretty home page and go straight to the contact page. They're going to go to this contact page and they're going to check to see if they're going to check the business name, the telephone number, and the address, and make sure it is the same that you put on that application. So now they're checking to see if you're going to slip up. They're trying to catch you slipping. Okay? They're going to check that. They're going to check that website. They're going to check that contact page. All right? All right. Now, email. It's important to have a company email address for your business, not one of those free email services. Okay. You need to have a website that has your business URL in your email address, like your name at yourbusinessname.com, right? This is simple stuff, right? Just like I said, this is ABC stuff. This is simple stuff. But it's very important because they do not want to see you do business from a free email service. That could be anybody. They want to make sure that they're corresponding with somebody that is a representative of this company, right? All right. So setting up a business email address is just too easy and inexpensive. You should get your email address from the same company that gave you your website, right? Now, these companies like GoDaddy, they a la carte you. They will get you this website, but then when you need an email address, they're going to charge you $100 a year for one single email address. All right. That's when they get you. All right. So just so you know that, all right, that's just so you know, right? Okay. So avoid using free email services like Yahoo. Don't use party chick at Yahoo, right? Can't do that. All right. So the way to do it is to have your name at yourcompanyname.com, right? Simple stuff. Simple stuff. Let's move on to the next. Fax number. Well, we talked about the fax number, but the fax number, lenders perceive a credible business as one with a fax number, okay? As a business, you will need a fax number so you can receive important documents. You also need to fax in some of your credit applications, okay? You can also use an e-fax that goes directly to your email, right? So having it is not necessary, but definitely increases your chances of getting approved. Okay. Okay. Your business bank account. Okay, you definitely need a business bank account. Lenders and creditors think that credible businesses have a bank account. Okay. So once you have your certificate, once you have your certificate from the Secretary of State and your EIN number, you should be rushing over to go get your bank account. Okay. Your your business banking history is vital to your future success of being able to secure larger business loans. The date you open your business bank account is the day the lenders consider your business to have started. So if you incorporated your business 10 years ago, but you just opened your business bank account yesterday, then according to them, your business just started yesterday. And the length of time in business is critical to what you can get, to the funds that you can get access to. Okay. The longer your business banking history, the better your borrowing potential will be. Licensing. One of the most common mistakes when building credit for your business company is non-matching business addresses on your business licenses. Even worse is not having the required licenses, right? So if you got your right licenses, they're going to be checking, right? If you got your right license, they're going to check. If they see your old address, they can deny you and don't even have to tell you why they denied you. Okay? So it's important to have all this stuff set up properly from the beginning so that along the line you do get um you do get declined. You know it's not this simple stuff, right? You gotta have this simple stuff all set up right. That way, if they decline you, you know it's not that. Okay? You know it's not this simple stuff. Okay. So, um, you will need to contact the state, county, and city government offices to see if there are any required licenses and or permits to operate your type of business. Okay. Now, for existing businesses, like if your business is already in existence, right? You need to take time to verify that all main agencies, state, IRS, bank, 411 National Directory, have your business listed with the same exact legal name and address and telephone number, everything. Also, take the time to ensure every bill you get, power bill, phone bill, landlord, that is in your business name, has the business name listed correctly, and comes to your business address, right? So if you're an existing business and you Google your name and you come up with different addresses, some old telephone numbers, they don't want to see that, right? So there's a company called Yext. They have a service called data cleansing that will wipe the whole internet clean of those old stuff and put the new information so that they see consistent information. They want to see your correct address and telephone number every place, right? That's just real simple, right? Okay. Now, um, you see how long it took just to do step one? That we just went over credibility and fundability, which is the most important piece. You see how long it took me to go over that because that's how important it is, right? You need to know about these little details that the lenders are looking at. Very important stuff, okay? Anybody got any questions on credibility and fundability? Anybody got any questions? Then we'll go on to the next one, which is understanding your business credit reports. Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Brooke,
Go
can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
So the first question is, you were saying don't use your cell phone to don't use a cell phone as your business. But what if business account says, that business name with our saying no cell phone
You're going in and out. I'm trying to
with.
figure out what the question is.
So okay. So you recommend that we get a real business number.
I recommend the Freedom Voice to get a virtual that VoIP type of number, and then forward it to wherever you want it to forward to. That's what I recommend.
Hear you.
Did you hear that?
No, it's just like a real cell phone. You know how say like for my trucking company, right?
Right.
I went to I opened up a business. I basically have business lines where I use the EIN number is under the business name. Are you saying not to do that? To just get a landline? Like we can go through DaVinci, was it DaVinci? DaVinci?
No, Freedom Voice
What?
for the telephone number,
Freedom
DaVinci for
Freedom
the
Voice.
address.
Okay, so are you saying that we need landlines basically? No cell
No,
phones at all.
no cell phones and no landlines.
Okay.
Okay. I suggest the VoIP type of numbers, Freedom Voice, and then you forward it to your cell phone or your landline.
Okay. So no Google
There's a
Voice,
reason
Freedom
for
Voice.
that, though, right? I'm just not saying it, just be saying it, right? So
Mhm.
on the application, and they have that place where you put your, they're asking you for your business number. What they are doing is pulling up a list of all cell phone numbers and all landline numbers. If your number comes up on that list, then they can deny you and they don't have to tell you why. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to avoid those because they're going to be looking. That's one of the first things they do is to check to see if the number that you gave is listed with the 411 National Directory, which is
o-
attached to your address.
Okay. Got it.
All
My
right.
second
Another
question.
question? Go
Yes.
ahead.
Does Dunn and Bradstreet, do they recognize virtual addresses now? Because I remember being denied a number because I was using a virtual office a few years ago. So has that changed?
They denied you because you used a virtual address.
Correct.
Denied you giving you a DUNS number.
Yes.
Um, where did you get that done? Where'd you get that address from?
It may have been, I don't remember which source it was. I think it was like Regal or
Regis? Okay.
Regis. Yeah, I think it was like one of those big ones where I Googled it, probably came up first or something like that, but I had
Okay.
one.
I'm not sure about that, right? But
Mhm.
you can use a virtual address as your business address. All right. Um, I don't know what happened in that instance. I do not know what happened in that instance. But it's normal to have a virtual address. Now, this has to, like I said before, this has to be a unique address, all right? That it can't be like if you use an address that I don't know what product you actually bought from Regis, but if other businesses have that same address, then I can see that being a problem with Dun and Bradstreet. That's why you need a unique address. Okay. So you can use a virtual address, but it has to be a unique address,
Okay.
right? Right. So I don't know what address they gave you. I don't know if they gave you addresses that they gave somebody else, right? Because they figure out that there's a whole bunch of businesses at this same address, then yeah,
Right.
they're gonna deny you, right?
Okay.
And even vendors will deny you if they figure this out, right?
Mhm.
There are some vendors that do not do business with virtual office addresses, right? But it's not that many. So in those instances, then we're just gonna go look for another vendor, right, to get a trade line from. Because the whole idea is to get these trade lines, as many trade lines as possible. If you come up one that, and there's not that many that deny you because you got a virtual address, right? So there's only a few. And if you do run across them, then you go to another vendor and get those trade lines. You find those vendors that's going to accept you, right? Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Right. Because it's a process and a thinking process, right? Not all vendors are good. Now, some vendors are important, so maybe we might need to adjust something to be able to qualify, right? So some vendors are not as important as others. Some we're only getting just because we want to build up our trade lines. But then some vendors we actually need to operate, right? So That's when we start making choices and decisions, right? On what to do. Okay. So now we're at step 2, right? Which is understanding your business credit reports and the business credit reporting agencies. Now, there are 3 business credit reporting agencies that are the most important: Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. Okay. Now, these businesses are in the business of gathering information, repackaging it, and selling it. Information. For us, it's the information about our business credit report. So they'll sell us our business credit report for about $100 a month for each one of these. Okay. Now, my company will give you some discounts on that. Um, but it's important to always check your business credit reports, right? Because when we get these trade lines, which you already know about, and we make a payment, see what happens is they're supposed to, if they say that they report to a particular agency, one of these 3, we want to make sure that they do this correctly and timely, right? So, and they don't do that very good. I'm just going to say they don't do that very good because they're not in the business of doing after the sale stuff. They're in the business of selling whatever they just sold you. And now they have to send in a report afterwards. And some of them just hire a third party to send in these reports, right? So that's why it's important that you just can't think that because you made that payment, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. We need to pull our credit reports to make sure they did what they're supposed to do. I just made a payment, they're supposed to send in a report. I paid this on time, it needs to be reflected correctly on my business credit report. And they don't do that well. That's one of the reasons why having a coach guiding you along the way is important. Okay. So now with Dun and Bradstreet, obtaining a Duns number begins the process of building your business credit profile with them. Okay. It will also play an important role in enabling your business to borrow without a personal guarantor. So, if there's an application and they have a place to say, put your Duns number here, that means that they probably report to Dun and Bradstreet. And if you put that Duns number in there, they know exactly what business profile to send these reports to. And if you have a Duns number, you'll most likely get approved. Okay. So, um, having a Duns number starts the process with them. You can also enroll in the DMBI self-monitoring, which is this is their business credit reports for as low as $39 to $99 a month. Okay. But you have to do this for all of these, all 3, right? Okay, so Experian, they have what they call the small business reports. You can get a copy of your small business report for $49 to $99 per month, right? And you can find out how many trade lines are reporting, see if you have any a business credit score assigned, see if you have an active Experian business profile, and check on your recent inquiries. Okay, that's for Experian. Now, Equifax, they have these Equifax Small Business Credit Report, right? Theirs is definitely $99 a month. Okay. So it typically takes more time to create a file with Equifax Small Business than it does with Dun& Bradstreet and Experian. This is why it's important to apply with credit providers who report to Equifax. Okay, so the most used reporting agencies is Dun& Bradstreet and Experian, but you also have to make sure you got vendors that report to Equifax as well. Okay. Okay. That was step two, understanding business credit reports, right? And it's important to read these business credit reports. And when I coach you on doing this, I teach you how to read them because it's not easy reading business credit reports. Okay. So now we're going to go to step three. And remember, building business credit is a step by step process. Each step is needed for the next step. So you can't skip steps, right? So you got to first do, like I showed you, you got to make sure your business is set up credible so that we don't have those red flags during the application process. Make sure we got our DUNS number, right? And now it's time to actually start building some business credit, okay? And this part is not so easy as the other ones. The other ones was pretty easy, right? Now this one's not so easy because now we have to find vendors that's going to give you credit when you have no credit, and they have to report to the business credit reporting agency. Not that many businesses are going to give you credit when you have no credit. And two, only 10% of all businesses in the United States even report to the business credit reporting agencies because they're under high guidelines and restrictions to even be able to report. So it's difficult to find these companies. And when we find these companies, what we are going to get is a net 30 account, which means they're going to give us a little bit of credit. And when we buy something on credit, we have to pay the total balance in 30 days. Hence the term net 30, right? Okay, let's go get these net 30s, right? So a business credit report can be started much the same as a consumer report commonly is with small amounts of credit. The business can be approved for small credit amounts to help them build an initial credit profile. These types of initial accounts in the business world are commonly referred to as vendor credit or net 30 accounts. Okay. So, vendor accounts. And some vendors will approve your company for net 30 payment terms based on verification of as little as an EIN number and your 411 listing. This is how we're going to get you started by having your telephone number listed with 411 and having an EIN number is how we're going to start your business credit profile. Okay? Okay. Here are some vendors who will approve you for initial credit, even if you have none now. Maverick Office Supplies. That's the first place to go. Maverick Office Supplies. If you go to businesscreditbuilder.us/vendors, you'll see that logo for Maverick Office Supplies that's linked to their website, right? You go ahead and do that hookup and get that Maverick account. Just because you got an EIN number and your phone is listed with the National 401 directory, they're going to approve you, okay? That's an easy start. There's also JJ Gold and the CEO Creative. Go to that website and you can see those. There's also Granger, Pilot Flying J, and Uline. These are all good starter vendors. Okay. Um, yeah. So make sure you got those, right? We need to get five of them. Maverick Office Supplies, JJ Gold, the CEO Creative, Granger, Pilot Flying J, Uline, right? Okay. Always now during this process of the net 30s, always apply without using your social. There will be a place to put your social, and you want to leave that blank. Okay. If they give you a spot for the social, leave it blank. You want the place that they're asking you for your EIN number. Now, and you put your EIN number there. Now, if you have an application that asks you for your social and there's no place to put your EIN number, then you got the wrong application. Okay. You need the business application. Okay. Leave the social blank. Okay. Some vendors will request it and some will even tell you that they need it. But you ask them, please submit this application without the social. I've never had to do that. You just leave the social blank. You put in your EIN number. Boom. Right. When your first three Net 30 accounts reports your trade lines to Dun and Bradstreet, the Dun system will automatically generate a paydex score for your business. The paydex score is the score that creditors look at to determine your credit worthiness. Dun and Bradstreet will not give you a paydex score unless three businesses have reported your payments to them. Right? So you got your Dunn's number, but now we need to pay that score. They won't give you the pay that score until three businesses have sent in reports. Now, if those three businesses that you first got report to Dun and Bradstreet and you pay them on time, then your pay that score will be about a 76 on-time payments. You got three on-time payments, it's going to be about a 76. The paydex score goes from 0 to 100, okay? You need to be above 80. So when you send in these first three that were paid on time, that paydex score is going to be about a 76. And now you only got a little bit more to go, right? So pay your net 30 vendors accounts in full and on time. You must be patient and allow time for the vendors reporting cycles to get in the reporting systems. It usually takes about 3 months. Okay. So after 3 months, you should have 5 trade lines, 5 net 30 accounts on your business credit reports. Okay. Some vendors will require an initial prepaid order before they can approve you for business terms. Uline is one of those companies. So if you go to Uline and there's nothing on your credit report, sometimes they ask you to make some transactions first, right? That's just so you know that they might ask you that. They might ask you to make some transactions first. So then again, you have to think, is this a vendor that I need? Can I get this trade line easy? Well, maybe you might need to skip to another vendor that's going to do it without making those transactions. Or maybe this is an important vendor that you go ahead and do it, right? Or you wait till something hits your business credit report and then apply for it, right? So then they give you it without asking you to make those transactions first. So you need to have a total of at least 5 net 30 day pay accounts reporting. 5. That's the goal right now. 5 net 30s. Preferably 3 going to Dun and Bradstreet, 1 going to Equifax, and 1 going to Experian. That's the goal at this point in time, right? So once you got that, check out my car, right? Check out that car. It got the number 5 on it, right? And it got the smoke. But check out his face. His face is like, yo, I got credit now, and now we rolling. So now we got 3 net 30 accounts on the business credit reporting, on the business credit reports, 5 accounts. And now we can go to the next step. Okay? Step 4, revolving accounts. This is where we want to be. But like I said, we can't skip steps. We can't skip steps, right? We can't skip that net 30 and come straight to the revolving accounts. We need those net 30 accounts to get these revolving accounts. So after five trade lines are established using vendor accounts, obtaining revolving accounts is the next step. Revolving accounts or cards a business owner can use and not be required to pay the full balance owed each month. So that's when they give you a minimum amount to pay each month, right? Like a credit card, right? So this is where you want to be, these revolving accounts. Okay? Okay. Most stores will not approve a business owner for business credit unless the owner has established credit profile and score, just like in the consumer world. And that's what we did with those net 30 accounts. We established our credit profile and we got a credit score. Okay? Vendor accounts must be used first to establish a profile and score. Then store credit can be obtained. It usually takes only 90 days or less. So 3 months. It should take you 3 months to get these five accounts, right? That will create your business credit profile and get you a score. Okay. So revolving accounts. Most major stores do offer business credit, including, but they don't advertise, right? So, Home Depot, Lowe's, Office Depot, Staples, Best Buy, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon, Dell, Apple, BP, Chevron, Racetrack, all these big companies offer business credit. They offer terms for your business. And some businesses, this is all they need. Some businesses might only need a gas card, right? To get their truck up and down the block and or to repair their vehicles, right? Some other businesses might only need an Office Depot and a Best Buy account to operate their business. So you have to figure out what you need to operate your business, right? So like if your business is existing, it should automatically be built in to your business building business credit from the vendors that you use to operate, right? So if you're existing business, you should already have business credit. If not, then you know the steps to get this, right? And then when your business needs to grow and add a new truck or add a new branch or whatever, then you'll have some business credit and will get access to better terms, more money, and rates for your business, right? Okay. So store revolving credit must be obtained before the business owner starts getting Visa, MasterCard, American Express types of credit cards. Once 10 accounts are on the credit, an owner can then start applying for Visa, MasterCard, American Express, right? So the first goal was to have five trade lines on your business credit reports. Now the next goal is to get 10, which should also take another 3 months. Okay? So I'm not giving you the fast way. This is a step by step process. There are shortcuts, but I don't teach the shortcuts. I teach you how to do this for real. And this is the free money edition. I'm supposed to be telling you about my client, right? So let me start telling you about the client, right? So my client, see, I'm an accountant. So my client is a freight company, right? And I'm doing accounting for this freight company. And he also had me doing websites for his clients and his businesses, right? And then I noticed that when I did a website for these new businesses, $250,000 hit the bank the next month. $250,000 hit the bank the next month. I'm like, what the? Right? So at this point in my life, I said to the to my boss, the guy that owns the freight company, hey, I need to make some money. Can you find something for me to do? And he said, this is what you do. You go find a company, and we're gonna make a deal for this company. And off of this deal, you can make some money. So I found my buddy named Philly Phil. His name is Philly Phil, right? Philly Phil had a company he was just sitting on. He wasn't doing nothing with it. So we used this company, and 6 months later, we walked into Chrysler and got six brand new, what they call them, vans, right? Those vans, I forgot what they call those vans, but anyway, we needed these vans, and we got six brand new vans. Didn't even use our social. This is all EIN stuff, right? That's how I figured out that hey, business credit does work, right? Now I'm going to show you what I found out in a minute, all right? So hold that, and before this is in, I'm going to tell you what he was doing to get it like that, right? Okay. So in this process, we're going to continue on the screen. Approval amounts will be equivalent to the when you're applying for these credit cards, right? You got 10 accounts on your business credit. Now we're going for these credit cards. These credit cards will approve you for your highest credit limit that you have on your business credit report. Because on your credit report, it's going to tell you these accounts and it's going to tell you your limit for each account that you have. So you try to have 10 accounts with at least one of them having a $10,000 high limit. This is what you go for, right? So at first, when you get an account, it might not be 10,000, it might be 2,000, right? So then what you want to do is get these revolving accounts. You use one of these revolving accounts more often than the other. Then when they see that you are making on-time payments, then you call them and ask for an increase in your limit. And you keep calling them and ask for an increase. And you keep calling them. They will increase you when they see you making on-time payments. So you want to keep asking for increases because when you go to these credit cards and you get approved, then they're going to match your highest revolving account limit. Okay? Make sense? Okay, that's what's going to happen. All right? So it is essential to keep using the credit, keep applying for more, and talk with credit providers to raise credit limits. Okay? If you do this, business credit will keep growing until higher limit credit lines will be obtained by 12 months. So people ask me how long does it take to build business credit? Well, it's a different time. It's a different time frame for everybody. Everybody does this process in a different time frame, right? But basically, if you do the steps that I tell you in my program, it'll take you about 12 months. You do it by yourself, it's going to take you more than 12 months. Okay. Because there's obstacles along the way, little small speed bumps along the way that you can figure out, but it takes time to figure this stuff out if you're doing this for the first time. Okay. So that's why it's good to have a coach to help you get over these speed bumps smoothly and you're not wasting time, right? You can do this on your own. You know the process, you know the steps, you know what you have, what you need to have. I'm telling you, right? And so, step by step process, no skipping steps, right? Each step is needed for the next step, right? So, you can do this on your own. Having a coach helps you smooth out the process so you're not wasting time, right? That you're doing exactly the stuff that you need to do and you're not going off course, right? Okay. Um, here's a summary before we get out of here. No skipping steps, right? You know you can't skip steps, right? The goal is to have at least 10 trade lines. 10 trade lines on your business credit saying that I pay my bills on time. That's what they want to see. It's good to have that your limits as high as possible. So you keep on calling them back, increasing your limits. You get cash business credit accounts will match the highest credit limit reported on your credit profile. You will get access to MasterCard, Visa, American Express. And when you have business credit, you can access loans and credit lines. Okay? Now, before we get out of here, I'm going to tell you about alternative funding options. So, most businesses they go to the bank to get money, right? But at the bank, they're gonna look at those three C's for sure. At the bank, they're gonna look at the three C's: credit, collateral, cash flow. So, of all the businesses that go to the banks, 80% of those businesses get declined because they don't have the three C's, right? They don't have the three C's. Not all businesses got the three C's. So, in the recent years, like 10 years, there's been these companies that are alternative funding options that are trying to get business from those 80% that's getting declined, right? So they're giving you more options to get access to money, these alternative funding options, right? So when you get denied at the bank, we can help because we have alternative funding options, hundreds of them with different programs that we can get you approved. Even if you're a startup, even if you have credit problems, right? Even if you have low cash flow, right? So, um, I'm gonna go over these three alternative funding options real quick before we get out of here, okay? Cash flow financing. Cash flow finance is the most popular type of alternative funding today. These offer cash advances that look at bank account management for approval. If you have more than $3,000 in deposits, you can even be an independent contractor. You could be a Uber driver and get this type of money, right? Just because you got $3,000 in deposits per month, you can get approved. This is the fastest and easiest money you're going to find. Okay. Now, this cash flow financing is not for everybody. It's for businesses that come into a situation, and all businesses come into a situation, right? They might need to get their payroll done by Friday. They might have a piece of equipment that went down and they need to be replaced, like right now, right? So businesses have situations, and this is what existing businesses do. Cash flow financing is expensive, right? But if you got the cash flow going through your business and you need money, yeah, I mean, like need it, that's how you get it. It's not for everybody. It's not for startups. It's definitely not for startups, right? It's for existing businesses that got cash flow. It's basically for businesses that got 10,000 or more in deposits every month, right? So those are businesses that I would refer to if they have a situation for cash flow financing. And my lending partner for cash flow financing is David Allen Capital. If you go to my website and go to the tab that says business loans, you'll see David Allen Capital, and there'll be a quick application, right, with only about 5 questions for you, right? And then when you fill out that quick application, and you can do this on your phone and get money the same day. You go on your phone, you put in your information, and then this is what you need to know when you do that. is you put in your information, and then they're gonna send you an email so that you could connect your bank account. They're not gonna do anything until you connect your bank account, because they want to see that the amount of money that you say you were depositing is actually going in the bank. They want to see it by logging into your bank account, right? They're not going to even check to see if you qualify before you connect your bank account, right? So that's what you need to know. Connect your bank account. So, David Allen Capital, that's my funding partner for cash flow financing. Let's go to the next one. Collateral based finance. So, if you have collateral, you can get funding, okay? And it's usually at low rates because they could just take the collateral and pay and be able to get their money back that they gave you, right? So, even as a startup with bad credit, you can still secure collateral based funding if you have collateral, okay? So, here goes some different types of collateral. Um, Accounts receivable. That's also known as factoring. So, my client that had the freight company, he would fund his business through factoring, right? So he got a trucking company, right? The truck makes a delivery, they invoice to get paid, but it takes them about 30 days to get the money for that delivery. So what they do is use factoring. You need to be able to batch and sell your invoices. Batch and sell your invoices, right? So with accounts receivable, with factoring, what they do is sell the invoices, right? What happened to my thing? Uh, I'm seeing what happened with my my webcam is bugging out. Oh, I see what it is. Oh, there we go. There we go. We in there. Okay, so my freight company that I had my client, he would sell his invoices and get paid in 24 hours, right? He didn't have to wait the 30 days to get paid. He just sold his invoices and got the money the next day. Okay. Another way to get money through collateral financing is if you have a government contract, right? If you have a government contract, you can get money. You can't go to the bank and get money with that contract, right? But there are alternative lenders that will, because they look at it like this. Okay, you got a contract to do some business, right? Now, in order for you to get the money on the contract, you need this piece of equipment. You go into these alternative lenders and say, I need this piece of equipment. Can y'all buy this equipment? Because there are companies that only finance equipment, right? So you would go get this loan for the equipment. Banks will not do this. And that's how if you have a government contract, then that's how you get money, right? With your government contract. Now, if you have stocks, bonds, 401ks, you can get a business loan, okay, in which your investment stays intact. Right now, Trump is messing up all these type of investments. But just so you know, like a 401k, right? A 401k is you're working, you put they're taking money out your out of your paycheck and they're giving it to other companies to make and they make money with your money. That's what happens, right? So my idea in this instance is to use your own money and fund your business with your money that you already made, right? The money stays right there. Your 401k still does what it do. They only mess with it if you don't pay on the loan that they gave you, right? There's also revenue lending. That's another type of lending, off of future revenue that your business is going to get. There's inventory and equipment lending. So if you have over $100,000 in inventory or equipment, then you can get a loan. If your home if you have equity in your home, you can get a business loan or for the equity in your home. And insurance agents have what they call is the book of business, which is your client list, right? You can get a loan off of your client list. So these are alternative thinking, right? That the banks don't do. The banks don't do this, right? There are alternative lenders, and we have hundreds of legitimate alternative lending options. Okay, now I'm going to go over number three, which is the credit line hybrid program, which is our most popular lending program. And what this is, and what this is, it's getting credit cards based on you having good personal credit, right? So you need to have at least a FICO score of 685 if you have good personal credit. And this is good for startups, right? A startup with good personal credit. And if you don't have good personal credit now, I got a guy that can hook you, right? So we have a webinar next week on how to get primary trade lines for your personal credit that'll set you up, right? So with this credit line hybrid program, you need that 685. And how this works is like this. They're going to look at your personal credit. They're going to look at your highest revolving accounts that you have. Let's say, for instance, you got a Home Depot account on your personal, right? You got $30,000 available. That's your credit limit for your Home Depot account. What they will do is get you up to five credit cards with $30,000 on it, up to $150,000 in 3 weeks. Okay? That's what this does for you. The credit line hybrid program. You can go to the business credit builder.us/get funding, and you can see the credit line hybrid program. There's a video that tells you about the program. There's a list of the qualifications, right? So check that out. Basically, you need to have good personal credit, right? And you can be a startup and fund your business, okay? With the credit line hybrid program. And on top of that, the credit line hybrid program, the rates are usually 0% for up to 6 to 18 months. This is a no doc funding, so even startups can qualify. Um, Accounts report to the business credit reporting agencies. So that's a win-win, right? Now, other alternative funding that we have access to is private monies, right? That you have to have good tax returns for that. There's venture capital and equity financing. That's like the Shark Tank guys, where they give you some money for your business, but they take a piece of your business, right? You know about crowdfunding, right? You can even get specialized funding to buy equipment, signs, and vehicle wraps. Now, equipment, you see that, right? Let's go back to my client. This is the free money edition. I'm gonna show you how this guy was getting the free money, right? I'm gonna show you right now. This is the free money piece. So, you know my client, the freight guy, right? He's getting these loans. He's dropping 250,000, right? Remember I was telling you about that, right? So this is what I found out that he was doing, right? So he'll have two companies set up, right? He'll have two companies set up. He got the freight company, right? Which he got trucks that are making deliveries, right? And then he has a truck sales company where he's selling trucks out of this company. So the freight company is going to go to the truck sales company and buy some trucks, right? He'll get approved for 250,000, And when he gets approved, they're going to cut a check to the the truck sales company for him to buy these trucks. They're going to cut a check and send it right to that other company, which is his company. So what he does is he don't even have to go buy the trucks. He just keeps the money. And that automatically turns into a loan where you're making payments on the loan. Okay? So this guy, he was um taking advantage of the situation, right? So he wouldn't even pay off the loan payments for the trucks that he didn't even buy. He just kept the money. And when you do that, they come to that company and they try to get access to the assets of that company. And they can't get assets from him personally because it's a corporation. The corporation is separate from the person. So they're only trying to get assets of the company to recoup what they just lost. And this particular guy, he don't even have his name on the businesses. He don't have the name on the businesses. So he he just getting away with getting $250,000. Now, I don't teach people how to do that. What this brought to my attention that business credit actually works. He's using business credit to get this money. And on top of that, I want to show people how to do it for real. And that's what I show you. Step by step, using trade lines, no skipping steps. I'm not teaching you how he did it, but this is how I learned that it even exists and that it works. Business credit for real. I teach you what I taught you already is how you build business credit for real. Trade line by trade line, no skipping steps. This ain't no fast process. We're not running to go get some money next week. It takes time. It takes time to build up business credit. But once you do have business credit, it gives you options. It gives you options for sure. You get access to more money, better rates, and terms when you do have business credit because they are already familiar with you being able to pay bills on time, right? So look at this right here. This is Christine. This is one of my clients. She was able to get all of these approvals in 6 months. Now, everybody can't do this in 6 months. She's able to do this in 6 months because she's a stay-at-home mom. Her husband is a truck driver. He's out on the road. She's at home all day doing business credit. Not everybody could do this. But look at this list. Sprint 2,000, Amazon 4,500, Tractor Supply 5,000, Exxon 5,000, Fuel Man Fleet 6,000, BJ 7, BP 8, Lowe's 10, Apple 12,500, Shell 15. Whew. This list is over $250,000. And look at PNC, that's a credit line. If she had good personal credit and put that on there, then she would have got 250 because they know that she can pay a bill. Okay? So it can be done trade line by trade line. You can do it too. It's easy to do. What slows people down is staying focused. All you got to do is get the account, make a purchase, make the payment on time, pull your credit reports, and keep repeating the process. This is stuff you do for normal. This is easy, but people don't stay focused, right? It takes time to do this, right? It can be done. It's easy to do. There's a little bumps in the road, speed bumps in the road, but we're gonna smooth you over that, right? Okay. So this is part of our spring fling promotion, which we are offering our one-on-one consultation for. You can start for as low as $200 with my one-on-one consultation. Okay. If you go to my blog, businesscreditbuilder.us/blog, you can will find a whole bunch of information. The YouTube channel got a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, the YouTube and the Spotify is off the chain. The Spotify podcast is called Business Credit is Real. The blog is also called Business Credit is Real. And check out all this information that's out there for you that I give you for free. Okay. Um, if you want to talk to me about getting this special, to start with $200, you schedule your free business credit consultation. I have a one-on-one consultation, and if you want me to, I can go over what that entails. You know, but here goes my contact information. Make sure you get that free guide, right? By going to businesscreditbuilder.us/free guide, you get a free guide on how to build business credit. Okay? Anybody got any questions? Was this webinar useful? What, or did I waste your time? Mr. Cruz is in the building. What up? Yeah, did I waste your time? Was this good info? Um, did I help you? Did you learn something that you didn't know?
Yes,
Anybody?
it was for myself, I think it was valuable information. That's why we are still here. So I was driving and taking notes at the same time.
Okay.
But yes, yes, it was good. All good information. And that was gonna be my question. How much is it for your training? So you said to start out it's $200. So if what you're saying it takes about a year for us to build it the right way, um, is it just $200 for the first month? Or if not, like what does that look like 12 months down the
Okay.
line?
Um, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you this screen where you can see my one-on-one program. I got two different programs, but this one-on-one program is for, like, people that can't afford the big one. So I'm gonna tell you about this one that's the cheaper program, right? And I'm gonna share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Hold on one second while I get to this page. Okay. Now I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen again. And this is on my website, businesscreditbuilder.us. You would go to solutions and 101, one-on-one to find this, right? You see that. Solutions, one-on-one, right? So you can get business credit for your EIN with the Business Credit Builder program. This is a one-on-one program of coaching for 1 year, right? And after that 1 year, you'll know business credit for real. If you do the steps I tell you, right? And what happens is, and on this page, you can see all the details, right? So I'm going to set you up. We're going to make sure your business is set up credible. We're going to do all those steps I just told you, right? That's why it's good to know the steps that we go through, right? Before you get into one of these programs. So you can go in there and see that, right? You see all the credit that you could get access to and all that stuff. There's a little video right there you can look at on that page. Now, the price is normally $999, $999. But during my spring fling for April, you get 50% off. right? 50% off. So that means it's only $500. You can start with $200 and make two monthly payments of 150 to total up to 500. Or you can pay a single payment of 350 and even save more money. And you will not see this program anywhere. Okay? So this is a limited time April Spring Fling special, right? You start with 200, you make 250, two payments of 150. Or you just pay 350 and even save more money, right? I got another situation that costs a little bit more. I can tell you more about it if you want, right? But this is the starter joint, right? This is to make sure that you got going. You can't afford the other program, and this gets you going really good. One-on-one with me. I got access to all the information, all the vendors. We're gonna get through this as fast as possible. But there's times that we have to do stuff, and then there's times when we sit back and marinate, right? So having a coach helps you out greatly, and you don't have to waste time, right? So if you do this on your own, you'll be trying to figure out what vendors to get. I got the vendors already, and I know the underwriting guidelines. So when we apply, we're gonna get automatic approvals. Right? If you do this on your own, you're gonna be just throwing darts at companies to figure out whether or not they even give whether or not they even report to the business credit reporting agency. If you do this on your own, you call up a company and say, "Hey, how do I qualify for this account?" Then what they're gonna say is, "You fill out this application. I'm gonna tell you if you qualify." They're not gonna tell you how to qualify. They're gonna say, "Fill out the application," and waste time and figure out. See, we already know if you're gonna qualify or not. So we're not gonna waste your time on stuff that is not gonna qualify you. We're gonna say this joint you qualify for now, right? And I'm gonna get you qualified. So most of my clients they can't qualify, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get you to be able to qualify. That's the thing. I'm gonna help you get qualified. All right, that's the real deal. And you can start with only $200. You schedule your consultation, right? You schedule your consultation, and or you can just call me 404-500-9687. But you can schedule your consultation at the time that's good for you, and we can work it out. If you got some questions, ask your questions. I'm open. Um, and what I say is for real. I'm not saying this stuff guessing. I know this for real because I did it already, right? I did it already and I do it right now for other companies. And my clients that do the steps, they get more than I tell them they're going to get because I always undersell. If you do the steps I'm going to tell you, you're going to get access to more than I even tell you. Okay? That happens all the time. But you got to do the steps, right? You do the steps, you get exactly what I tell you, but you're gonna get more for sure. All right. That's how we get down. Any more questions? I hope I answered that.
Hey, how
Yes,
you
thank
doing?
you.
All right,
Oh,
Mr.
sorry about that.
Cruz. Go ahead,
Hey, how
Mr.
you
Cruz.
doing? Yeah, I just wanted to know, let you know that I was definitely tuned in, and I appreciate you. You know what I mean, it was definitely knowledgeable, and I'm gonna be in contact.
All
We're
right, I
gonna
appreciate
definitely
that.
take on one of these one of the ones that you have.
Okay.
We're gonna definitely do that.
All right, Mr. Cruz, you finally said something. I'm glad you
Yeah,
participated. That's
of
good though.
course.
I appreciate that. And thank you very much, man, for even coming, because like, time is like money to me. So for you to take your time out, I appreciate that. And to listen. Shoot,
Most
most people
definitely.
don't even listen,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. LaShawn,
And
Miss Favors turned me on to it, so I was definitely yeah, it was much needed.
oh, that's what's up then. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Miss Favors, I
So
appreciate that for spreading the word. And that's what you do out here, right?
Right.
All right.
I have one more question.
Go ahead, Miss Favors.
So you mentioned the credit line hybrid program. You and your friend are going to be doing that next week, right?
Okay. The credit line hybrid program that's separate from what I told you about next week is a webinar on how to get these primary trade lines for your personal. That I mentioned can prepare you to get ready for the credit line hybrid, right? So if you don't have good credit now, we can get your personal credit to where you can qualify for the credit line hybrid, right? And so I got a guy, right, that he has a data provider, which means he's a doctor that can actually pull credit and put credit on you. You see what I'm saying? And we talk about that next week. You check out my upcoming events by going to businesscreditbuilder.us/events. And that'll give you all of the webinars that I have for the spring fling. Got a whole bunch of webinars for spring fling. And next week is the trade lines, right? So that's gonna be good. I got a guy, Elgin Edwards, and he comes on here and he's gonna tell you everything that he knows about personal credit and getting trade lines put on your personal credit so that you can get access to money and this credit line hybrid program. Did I answer that question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, all right. Yeah, so I thank y'all once again. Make sure y'all get that free guide, right? Get that free guide on business credit by going to /free guide. Just go to the website and you'll see the free guide. Businesscreditbuilder.us. A copy of this will be uploaded to my YouTube channel so you can see this again, right? So that's how we get down, everybody. I thank y'all much for coming. Anybody got any more questions?
No,
All right. Mr. Cruz, I appreciate you. Thank y'all.
thank you.
Have a good day.
You
likewise.
too.
Yes, sir.